Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Okay, we're back. We're back with more Live from the Heartland. I'm Michael James. I'm here in Chicago, and we're bringing on a friend of ours who I met him at the Heartland Cafe. He was on the show maybe 10 years ago, the one, the only Jon McDonald, a folk and blues historian and a great musician, played with a lot of people. How are you today there, Jon?
Well, I'm doing good. Promoting my namesake.
Aha. Oh, McDonald's. How about you got some free passes to McDonald's these days?
Drop that iron.
So I was
no senior discount.
That's good. Get the senior discount. So you were the band leader and the rhythm guitarist for Magic Slim. Magic Slim and the Teardrops, I think, for about 13 years. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into music, and what you did with Magic Slim?
Okay. Got into music early in my life, like right around 10 years old, you know, like everybody else, hearing the Beatles and stuff. And all of a sudden I said I wanted to do that, you know. I wanted to be the fifth Beatle. But seriously, I just like a lot of people of our generation, we all had guitars, and I think everybody learned at least one or two tunes, but I took it a step farther and just kept with it all my life, and, you know, different bands. And I've always wanted to play in a blues band, so I stuck it out and wound up with, you know, a lot of different people in my younger years, right after college, you know, on to the Chicago blues community, into the blues community, as it were, back in the day, and kind of worked my way up right up to the present. And I joined Magic Slim. Well, before that, I was with like Dietrich Farr, Valerie Wellington, Casey Jones, Hip Link Chain, smattering of other artists, including Big Daddy Kinsey and the Kinsey Report, and worked with Hubert Sumlin and the Myers Brothers, just about everybody that was in Chicago, and kind of based myself out of blues and the Kingston Mines, you know, the two, you know, premier North Side clubs of the day. And, you know, of course, the Mines is still around. Unfortunately, blues is no longer in action, but did my thing, and right up to the present, I have a CD coming out very soon called Stealing It Back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
Okay, good.
You can hear those McDonald's kids in the background too.
I'll snatch their McDonald privileges away from them. But anyway,
let me ask you. You went to St. Michael's School, and you know, if you had gone to public school, you would have gone to Waller, but that was down near Old Town. And you know, I got to know people from St. Michael's School when we were in Rising Up Angry, and we were organizing the Young Greasers who hung out at Gas for Less and went. You know, they were the core, the Hudsons, the Mohawks, the North Park, etc. And they call themselves core. They all went to North Park. Yeah. Not North Park. What am I saying?
Waller.
St. Michael's.
Yeah, they did go to St. Michael's. In fact, right across the street from St. Michael's, there was this building. And on top of the building was this beer bottle that somebody stuck right on the roof. And it was a beer bottle that sat there for years. But that was something that somebody from Core had set there. You know, going by there a few years ago and looked up to the beer bottle wasn't there anymore. You know, they should have left it. Yeah.
Back in those early days, there was a club called Big John's.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing both. I think I saw Butterfield in there, but I did see Steve Miller. he was out of Texas via Madison.
Right.
And it was back in the summer of like 64 or something. And
Yeah.
a little before your time, but that was a little hotbed of music. And talk a little bit more though about what led you to, how did you meet Magic Slim? I guess his whole name is Magic Slim Holt. And you
Nick.
traveled the world for
Morris.
13 years with him.
Yeah. One quick thing I want to say about Steve Miller. He lived on North Mohawk, 1400 North Mohawk, and Rick Howard, who played in the band with me, was his drummer for many years. He used to play a club on Sedgwick. I forgot the name of the club, but again, before my time. But why would I know these things? But Magic Slim, I joined the band. I'd known him for years, but I joined the group to do a tour we were supposed to leave for Denmark on September 11th, 2001. We didn't make it off the ground.
Right.
Tour got canceled, but we picked it up in 2003. And from 2003 until 2012, I must have toured Denmark and other countries in Scandinavia almost a dozen times. Like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, been all over the place, especially Denmark. It's like touring Evanston. It's that small.
Did you like touring, going on the road where you're playing one place after the other? I've got a couple of sons who are in bands. One of them is Hal, the engineer, and he didn't like touring. And my son, Cadian, who was in Twin Peaks, he got tired of touring. Where were you at? Did it for 13 years or more.
When I look back on it, I enjoyed it. There were some aspects about touring I didn't like. For example, you get to some place, you play, you're having a great time, go to your room, eat a little bit, 3 hours later, you're on the road again. I didn't like that part of it. Being on the road, of course, you'd have your fractious moments with members of the band. When I look back on it now, because just about everybody, not everybody is gone, but that particular unit no longer exists, along with Magic Slim, BJ, Brian Jones, Andre Howard, Michael Blakemore, the tour manager, and he also produced a couple of Slim's recordings before everybody passed, and Slim himself. So that whole unit is no longer with us, but we had our moments, but I missed them all.
Who taught you the most? I mean, what did you learn from some of the blues men and even women who came before you?
What did I learn the most?
Yeah, who taught you something that's worth sharing?
Well, they all did, but I'd say the most practical advice that I got would say, for example, Lefty Diz, who I played with for a while. He actually helped me to tour Europe on my own. He couldn't do all. He was splitting his time up between Switzerland and Paris. Paris is where he was diagnosed with cancer, and I did, the Swiss gigs for him, or the Swiss tours for him. But he actually put me on the road. But he gave me one particular bit of advice: do not discuss race, politics, and religion.
See, I would just be the opposite. I would say, get into all of that.
Yeah. my better nature would be, be the recalcitrant, rising up angry.
Who are your favorite musicians who influenced your actual playing the most?
My favorite musicians would be Louis Myers, Dave Myers, Hubert Sumlin, Smokey Smothers, Casey Jones, Robert Covington, and Bonnie Lee, who I really adored because we used to have fun on stage together, you know. Yeah, and learned a lot. I'd say, you know, working with female, you know, vocalists like Big Time Sarah, Valerie Wellington, Deetra Fire, Lavelle White. You learn how to adapt, you know, to each particular artist style. You know, Coco Taylor, even who I worked with for a couple of weeks in January of 1984, before she had that accident in Kentucky. And, you know, they're all stalwarts and they all have a particular style. And I would just try to adapt to, you know, to the way they play. Even now with some of the current female players, you know, everybody has a way of doing a particular song. That's where I'm at.
What do you know, Jon McDonald, what is the status of blues today? In Chicago, around the country, even around the world? You know, I'm thinking back to my early days of, you know, certainly I was listening to Jimmy Reed and, you know, a lot of people real early. But then when I came to Chicago, the first show I actually went to was probably in '62 at a place called the Fat Black Pussycat. It was on Broadway, just north of where the Clark and Broadway split at Diversey. And it was I was there, a math professor from Lake Forest took me there, and it was Muddy Waters and James Cotton and some white kids. And I think it was Corky Siegel and Jim Schwall. And you know, that was the first I started seeing a lot of white kids playing the blues and getting involved. And I wondered if that's still the case today, or are African Americans, you know, certainly there's plenty of African Americans doing the blues, but I wondered how that's playing out. Is it a universal music now? Everybody's playing it, or do they have to experience some dire situation to sing the tune correctly?
I would say, you know, as you said, dire situation to sing the tune correctly, which I'm kind of mentoring a couple of people. I said, if you're gonna sing this music, you know, sing it right. And I said, if you really want to know you're singing it right, go to a black club and see, you know, where you stand. You know, where the music is now is you have a lot of white kids wanting to play the blues, but it's not like our generation where it was new to a younger generation back in the day, but they were nailing it. They were more attentive to the artists, to a lot of the artists from the South, like Big Joe Williams, even Reverend Gary Davis, even Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf. There was more respect towards the older generation of musicians. There was a lot to learn, but I think we all had that same value system. You know, show respect towards your elders, regardless of their race and color. Now, you know, nobody has no respect for us. You know,
I don't know if it's disrespectful to share this, but I remember being at Grinnell College in sometime 60 or 61. And blind Reverend Gary Davis was there, and he was blind.
Right.
But then I saw him pinch a young woman on the you-know-where.
Oh, really?
And so I realized that some guys who are blind are maybe not all blind, but that was the only time I saw the blind Reverend Gary Davis.
Oh, I bet it. Well, you can call me Blind Jon McDonald, and if you see me...
Can't do that anymore.
No. Well, I have a friend who calls me, you know, Blind John Rabinowitz, you know.
Where are you playing these days? Where would people go and see you? And what are some good, you mentioned black blues clubs. Tell me where they are, what they are, and what blues clubs are around in general, because as I get older, I'm feeling a greater urge to go out at night and hear music.
Well, the only blues club that I would subscribe to, that's all, well, actually two. predominantly Black. And one of my favorite, venues in Chicago would be the Waterhole, 1400 Southwestern. And the thing that I like about the Waterhole, the audience is predominantly Black, but the owner, I forgot what they call him, Tony, I think his name is. He likes a variety. He balanced it out, with white musicians and Black musicians, and they run a jam session on Wednesdays, run by Laureen every other Wednesday. And she's well connected with, the Waterhole and does her thing around town. There's a club in Chicago Heights called WLUW on South Halsted near Route 30. And you get more of a good mix, And I think there's another place that called the Odyssey Room. But, and mainly stay up north, like where I'm playing at, or kind of made it my home base when I do play there. Fuller's Pub at 3203 West Irving Park, and play there with the band. Dean Haas is a well-known blues drummer in Chicago. Occasionally Mike Scharf, who plays with a lot of different people. Mark Vavra, who plays keyboards. And recent addition to the band is Scott Safro. And he does a lot of the singing, and we split it up and we play blues, but we kind of get into a different vibe with different things. We take you back to the 60s a little bit.
What's the name of that club on 3203 Irving?
Fuller's, Full.
And what about Roses? Are they doing blues and out there?
Yeah, still doing blues. In fact, I just did a project with John Primer. It's billed as John Primer and the Teardrops, and it's a tribute to Magic Slim. And there will be a release of a DVD, CD of that concert that we did at Roses on November 28th last year. And it'll be in CD and DVD form, and that will be released on the 22nd of February.
And let me ask you, John, what nights are you at Fuller's?
Well, I try to be there on Wednesday nights. They have an open mic night, and I usually sit in the back, just hanging out, but I'll do a few songs, here and there and stuff. Like tonight, I'll be there and I'll, sit in and play and stuff. But it's a wonderful little club, small, good audience.
We had a woman on a couple of weeks ago with a children's tune. I think Ivy, let's see if I get her name right. Ivy Ford. Is she playing on Roses? And is she a young blues singer?
I don't know a lot about her except what I've heard, like on another radio show, and stuff. But I really don't know. I just know of her.
How about someone we had on recently, Win Knoll, and the blues, what are they called? The Blues Survivors, I think.
I know Win Knoll. Yeah.
These are younger women who are singing the blues.
Yeah. Now, Win Knoll I know, and I know the members of her band, and, nice lady, good talented players, and she was recent winner of a contest at Buddy Guy's, and her and the band, wish her a lot of best of success and stuff.
But Jon McDonald with a Jon. If people are looking to find you got to do the Jon.
Yeah, don't J-O-H-N.
About a minute left, maybe two. How about you sharing with us anything you want us to know about the blues, about you, about life? Put it out there, brother.
All right. I'll stick with the music regardless what the big wigs in the music industry is trying to shove down our throats. Stuff that, the music that we grew up with, It's traditional. It's about life. Stick with that because, you know, you may think you're playing the music at 20, but think what it'll mean to you when you're 30, 40, and 50. And when we're all gone, the younger generation has a responsibility like we have, you know, keep it going, keep it flowing, you know, and tell your story.
Well, that's good. So the next time we could see you is on a Wednesday night at Fuller's on Irving Park Road.
Hanging out and, you know, doing a couple of numbers and stuff. I'll probably play a few songs from my upcoming CD, which is ready for pressing, and I hope to have it ready by, you know, near the end of March. And I will be doing a tour in Switzerland in the latter part of May into June, and I'll be working around town, you know.
Okay, Jon McDonald, you keep us in the loop because I'm ready to go out at night in my old age here.
Okay, hopefully I'll get them damn teeth. Yeah.
You're doing good, brother.
Yeah,
it's
I
great
feel
to
authentic now. Yeah.
Okay, you've been listening to the